In this video, we're going to be looking at how we can read a scale. Now, I've got 6 different examples here. Looking at number 1, we can see that every single number represents a mark on my scale. It also increments by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is represented on this diagram. Now with the next scale, I've got 5, 7, 9, 11, but the dashes still indicate 1 increment jump. So I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is represented by the next scale. Now with the next one, here I've got a scale where for every 2 marks on my number line, it represents 1. And halfway between 30 and 31 must be 30.5. So with this scale, rather than going up by 1s, it's actually going up by half. So here, in between 33 and 34, the arrow indicates 33.5. Now sometimes the scale might not necessarily be going up by 1 or going up by a half, and it will be a scale that I need to work out. So here I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps in between 4 and 24. Now I can see that there's a gap of 20 in between these 2 numbers. So if I divide 20 by the number of jumps I need to make, I get 4 as being my answer. So this time, rather than going up by 1 or half, it's actually going up by 4 every time. So counting up in 4, 4, 8, 12, 16 is the number being indicated by the arrow. Now following this same process with the next question, here I've got a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I can see the whole jump in between these 2 numbers is 20. So following the same process, 20 divided by 10 is 2. Each dash represents a jump of 2. So 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, and 56. 56. Now if I carried on, I can just double check that I actually got the right scale. If this is 56, this would be 58, that would be 60, and 62. Now rather than working from left to right, it may have been easier to go from right to left, in which case instead of counting up by 2, I would take away 2. So 62, 60, 58, and 56. I arrive at exactly the same answer. Now with the final scale, I've got 10 and 13. I have 10 jumps in between 10 and 13. So the total gap is 3. So 3 divided by 10 is 0.3. Each mark represents an increment of 0.3. So I'm going to follow a slightly easier process this time. Rather than counting up by 0.3 from the left hand side, I'm going to start on the right and take them away. 13 take away 0.3 is 12.7.